All right, welcome. Shout out to Ashley. This is her sculpt, and it actually looks really good. So she sent me the file, and she wanted me to work on the eyes. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So I don't have like a plan. We're just gonna. I'm gonna pretend that I'm working on it as I would, and we're gonna try to fix the eyes. Really nice sculpting though. So let's see. She's got everything in hierarchies here, which is cool. So first, all right, when I'm looking at this sculpt, I think I want to, let's bring in some spheres first, so they can be kind of placeholders for our eyes for now. So let's add a sphere. I'm just going to bring it out so I don't lose it. I'll just name this eye for now. Whoops. Alright, so where is the sphere? Down there, okay. She will shrink it. Alright, so I want to get the feel a bit right. The first thing that I notice, I can't help it, I feel like the head is very narrow. So I'm going to make it a bit wider. And now that I'm doing that, actually, I think I might want to move it down. Okay. I know it's like I can't help it. I have to, anything I see, I have to fix it. My apologies. Not fix it, but I just get into it. All right, so let's mirror. So I think the eyes would probably be further back, as odd as that sounds. I'm just going to validate those spheres. I'm going to name the mirror eyes. And then, oops. Let's take, what's a good tool to use? Maybe clay subtract. And let's check the mirrors and just make sure that this is correct. So if I do show line, then this should be in the center of the head. See how it isn't? See how it's a little off? See how this line is it's like a little more to the left? So I just want to center it. I could do it manually, but I'd rather hit Gizmo and then go to reset. Oh no, why did I make it so wide? I made it so wide. That's so weird. All right, let's do this. Let's try this. Let's go back. Let's bake it. Oh, the head has a bunch of stuff connected to it, huh? Oh, the ears. The ears aren't connected. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to do pivot, center, pivot auto. Where's the pivot at? Let's go to the ear. Let's move them down a little bit. So normally when I think about the jaw, I think about the ear. Your ear usually connects right to the bottom of your jaw. So if you feel the very back of your jaw, your earlobe should be right there. So I tend to make ears pretty low. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to delete that and just work with the one ear. And that way it's, at some point in time we can just mirror it, make it a little bit bigger. It's kind of fun though. All right, so back to here. So I need to adjust. Let's make sure the symmetry is on world, and I'm going to adjust it so it's in the center. So that feels about right. At least for the nose. The lips, it still looks off, but I think that's fine. I think that's better. And the reason that's important is because I want to do local. And since we're using this symmetry, oh, the local symmetry is off too. Huh? Let's see if I bake it and then do pivot, auto, or center. No, nothing. If I bake the pivot, I don't even know what that does. I think you can actually change the pivot. Can't you? Object center. Gizmo, edit. Yeah, let's keep it there. Alright. Let's just do a test. I know this is like, it seems like a very long way to just like mess with the eyes, but if I want to do both at the same time, it has to be symmetrical. So it's very important, usually like to keep things in the center and just make sure that things stay symmetrical. It's tough because sometimes things just kind of get out of whack, but it's good because for a face and things like that, where you want to do both sides the same, it's important that they're okay. So it looks pretty decently symmetrical. So let's use clay with sub, and let's take away some of this clay here. Okay, so let's just take smooth and just smooth this now. Okay, I'm going to take move, and let's see if we can move some of this back. Get that pretty deep, because eyes are set pretty deep back in the head. So that's all I'm doing is just, I want to make the eyes a little more deep set. I'm going to make it smaller and try to get a little bit more here in the nose. If you like, you know that place in your eye, like that inside corner, sometimes it itches really bad. Like that's pretty deep. It's pretty deep set in the eye. So I might use drag to just drag that point back a little bit. Oh, I guess move will work too. But so essentially what I'm saying is like that area is really deep. It kind of goes really deep into the head. That looks kind of crazy. All right, so let's smooth it. Okay, so now we have, it's a little bit better. The eyes are looking a little bit better, I think. Oops. All right, so do I want to flatten them or stretch them? I think I still need to bring that space back a little bit. I don't mind pulling this cheekbone out a little bit even. All right, smooth that a little bit. Okay, so it's decent. You kind of get the idea. So now I'm going to take this and clone it and change this to lid. So now I just have the same sphere. I'm actually going to hide the one below. So now we have the same two spheres, and I'm going to use split with a rectangle, and I think I'm going to we'll try this out. There's a couple things you can do. I'm going to try this first. So I'm going to take the top and remesh it at like 135 and then smooth it. And then the bottom and remesh it 135 and smooth it. The only reason I'm remeshing it is because as you can see, it gets really ugly. So when you remesh it, it kind of cleans it up a bit, and then you can just smooth it. Let's bring the other lid back, or the other eyes. Okay, so this one is the lid upper, and this is the lid lower. So now we have an upper lid and a lower lid. So let's take the upper lid and let's just move it up, and let's move it out a little bit. We can stretch it. Stretch it this way a little bit, and then we can actually rotate it back. Oops, let's see. What's the correct way? Alright, so my gizmo is pointing this way, but I actually want the gizmo to be pointing this way. I don't want it to be pointing straight, so I'm going to use pivot and then rotate this. I'm actually going to just change it so that it's like pointing straight out. So all I'm really doing, let me hit solo. All I'm really doing is lining it up with more the direction of the eye versus just the way that it's like pointing for the shape. That probably doesn't make too much sense. All right, I want to move this pivot still down and to the bottom. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to rotate this to be pointing straight. So the reason I'm doing this, I'll hit pivot again, is so now I can rotate this eyelid, and it should stay on the same kind of path, almost like, you know, how an eyelid would move. You know, just for the most part. It's not going to be perfect, but okay, so there you have it. So the bottom, the lower, you can kind of do the same, just kind of make it visible, and we can try to rotate it. That's good enough. We'll rotate that down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just, you know, it's like a lid. It's like an eyelid. Those look really, the eyes look really big though. So let's make those a bit smaller. And then let's see what we have to do to make these not look as strange. So for these, I think I want to give them more of a curve. So I'm just going to use the move tool and kind of lift them up. Kind of lift it around the eye a little bit. Okay, so now I'm looking at everything, and I'm going to take these out of the mirrors. It'll just be easier to just work on one eye. So I can select everything and just move it over because it looks like it's, it looks like it's a little too big. So I'm going to make it smaller. I'll move it out a little bit more. And let's see, do they need to be tilted? Maybe tilting works. No, that looks strange. Let's move it out a little bit. Let's see. That looks alright. I just made it a little thinner. That seemed to help a little bit. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take move, and I still want to adjust this a little bit. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to be like angry looking, you could keep it there, but, you know, what is that? Oh, that's the bottom part, huh? Let's do x-ray. Oh, yeah, that's the bottom part. So I'm just going to trim that with lasso. I'm just going to trim this piece off because it's bugging me. All right, that looks better. So now we can take this and really just move it with the move tool to make it kind of however you want it. The lower lid. It looks like this was remeshed a couple times too, so I'll probably just remesh it again. Remesh the lids. Okay, that seems decent. So another thing I like to do is just test out where I put the eye, because sometimes you can like place something and then the next day you're like, why did I place that there? It looks so weird. Also, sometimes this is weird, but sometimes I'll squint. I'll squint and look at it to see if it looks all right. I can't be the only one that does that. Unless that could be like a drawing thing from like years of drawing. Lid upper. I think I just want to, I'm going to flatten it so it's more, see what I'm doing? If I use x-ray, this is my upper lid. I'm just flattening it so so this kind of curves in a little bit more here. Does that, if that makes sense? I think that might look a little bit more realistic. But anyway, I think that looks pretty good. This, I think I still want to curve it down more. And actually, this might even be up a little bit more. When I think about how I used to draw kind of stylized people, humans, I think it was kind of a little bit more like this. I think I like that. All right, let's take this, the eye, and let's clone it. And I'm going to name this P1. Oh, there's a few things you can do, though. It's tricky. You can keep it simple and just do what I'm doing now. So I just made another sphere. And I'm just going to place it kind of like this. And it is anatomically correct. Like our irises do sort of like come out from a little bit from our eyes. Not that it really matters for something like this, but let's make it smaller. That looks pretty good, actually. I think I want it to be more round, so I think I'm going to pull it out a little bit more. Yeah, see how it's not like perfectly round, which is annoying me, but that might just be the eye shape. So I'm going to try to smooth the eyeball and see if that helps out a little bit. It also could just be, I don't know, sometimes it could be the sphere I used. And you can, if you really don't want to be that clean with it, you can just use move and you can make it fit. You know, if you're not going to be really moving it a lot, then you can just do that. So now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to move it over a bit more. Because you never want eyes in the center of the eye. You want them towards the middle. They still look a little big. I'm going to shrink a little bit. Yeah, that's the only annoying thing, is it doesn't look like perfectly round. But still decent. Still decent. Oh, it's like looking up too, isn't it? Let's see if we can tilt it and move it down, maybe. But it might just be the whole eye that needs to move. It looks good here. But then it's clearly like looking up. Let's see, how would I fix that? Let's see if we take both of these and they need to be rotated down. That looks better from the side. A little weird from the front, so we'll just kind of split the difference, I think, so that it looks decent from both directions. That's what you gotta do sometimes. Alright, let's go back to this lid, and I'm just gonna pull this out a bit more. Let's bring this up a bit more, and let's bring this up a bit more. Give the eye a little bit more stylized look. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like it. I kind of like it looking up a smidge. Okay, so now we have all of these things. So the eye we can bring in there. P1 we can actually bring in there as well. And the lids we can put back into the lid mirror. So now we have both of them. So now all I would do is go in and fix it in terms of how you want it to look like with the head. So we want to make sure, and again, this could be like, I don't know what character is she making. Everything could be perfect for the character, but since I'm here, I'm just going to have some fun and, you know, do the things that immediately pop out to me. So one is like you want that cranium, you want the top of the head a bit flat, and then you want to bring the head out a bit more towards the back. And remember, it's 3D, so you always have to go in and make sure it's like nice and wide in like a lot of these spots too. Okay, so now we look at the front and it looks a little, let's see, we're in orthographic, okay. See how it looks a bit wide now? So we'll just kind of split it. And by split it, I just mean like, if you bring it out and it's too much, then just go halfway from where it was. So I'm going to try to widen the brow as well. Okay, everything looks okay though. But let's make sure that we have them at a height we want. And a depth we want and all that stuff. Now is a good time to like make sure all that stuff just works right. Works the way that you want. You can also like rotate. You can try different things out for different looks. But I think that looks pretty good. I want to take the jaw and I want to make sure the jaw is like nice and wide. It's too wide. Oh, that's right, this ear. Let's bring this ear up. Add a mirror. It's not bad. Okay, there's a lot of space between the lip. So let's see if I can make a little less space. Bring this up. I might actually just, let's see. So usually with this lip, I try to go out like this. I'll use drag. It might be a little easier with drag. Well, not really. Drag makes it a little, the movements are so different with drag than move. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm going to take flatten actually, and I'm going to try to flatten this. Because the upper lip, usually what you see when you're looking at someone is the, almost like the underside of the lip, of the top lip. So what I want to do is I want this to be flat here. Like so. And I also want to kind of widen the whole mouth a bit. I think I still might want to move everything up a smidge. Let's do select mask. And I think we can just protect this area. So then we can just use move and maybe just move everything up a smidge. I can fix the shape of the lips too, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, that feels a little bit more natural, I think. So I can clear the mask and then smooth, and this should smooth decently, so you don't really see much. And if not, we could always voxel remesh. Okay, so the bottom part of the lip, I want to add some mask to, because usually the bottom lip is at least the same size as the upper lip. So I just want to add some, oh, I'm still on sub. Okay, so we'll add something like that for now and kind of smooth it. And I want to take the middle part of the, maybe drag, the middle part of the lip and add that little part that kind of comes down in the middle. And then you can take move and you can adjust like the bottom lip if you need to. But I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to use pinch and get some more definition in this upper lip. Maybe I should voxel remesh it first before I start doing like details like that. That might be a smart thing to do. I'm going to take these ears. Are they mirrored? They are. I'm going to name the mirror ears. The reason I do that is so later when I validate the mirror, it takes that name. I hate that if you validate a mirror, it just calls it mirror. It's one of my pet peeves. Peeves. So I just want to pull this a little bit more into the face. Kind of make it look like it's going a little more into the face, but otherwise that looks pretty good. The jaw and the chin just look a little small. Trying to look at it from like all different angles. And trying to think if I want to add like a little more cheekbone. I think the cheekbone would be like around here maybe. It's gonna look wild. Let's smooth it and see what happens. You can always undo. I just feel like I'm missing a little bit of like mass from the face, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Let me try flatten. Oh, you know what it is too? You know what it is? It's actually not terrible. Let me use move and kind of move them in. It's a little puffy there, which you don't really want, so I'm gonna make it not puffy. But also, there's not enough chin. I think there needs to be a little bit more chin. So I think this whole section might need to come out a bit more. So if I'm looking at the right, and I'm not sure, this might mess everything up, but we'll see. Sometimes you need to bring the lower part like out some. Does that make sense? So like just give it like a little more like space underneath this chin. And I still feel like the chin is a little narrow. Okay, let's just smooth this a little bit. But faces are very, very difficult. Let me clear this mask. Extremely, extremely difficult to do. And especially when people want to get into like likenesses, very difficult to pull off. Because there's like all these like little things that can keep it from looking natural, but they're just very hard to kind of get perfect. Okay, let me look at the head. Okay, I still feel like there's not enough chin. If I take the ears, the eyes, and the head, I think that's everything up here. Pivot, center, auto. I can't get the pivot up there. Let's see. We'll shrink it a little bit. And I actually want to see, I think she's using a matte cap, but I actually want to see the other parts of the figure. Which you did really good, by the way. Really good sculpting. Okay, yeah, this is actually pretty good. This is great. We can connect these pieces pretty nicely. So now I'm just trying to think of like what seems like it needs to be changed. Yeah, because something feels a bit stiff. I did notice that you can make these a little bit higher. Ooh, mirror is not on. Symmetry. Okay. let's take this part of the neck and like make it a little wider so it looks like it's really going into those muscles, even though they're set to separate mesh. That's fine. God, everything is so difficult to get stuff done when I have to watch the baby monitor at all times. She only ate 2 hours and 17 minutes ago, so I have to stay up with her until 3. Trying not to feed her, like... Let me figure this out. Wait a minute. Pivot, auto, pivot. The ears, pivot, center, pivot. Let me bake all this stuff. I just don't know why certain parts are like not where they should be. Bake, 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 bake. It's already baked. Why is that not baking the correct way? I'm so confused. Maybe it's because of the mirror? If I take it out, can I bake it now? Bake. Pivot, center. Is it because of this? None? Oh, I think it was because of that normal thing. Center. Pivot, center, pivot, auto. There we go. What about the head? Pivot, auto. The head's good. The ear, pivot, auto. Oh. Bake, pivot, auto. There we go. That's what I want. I always want the green to be pointing up. Bake. I'm going to bring this out and do pivot, auto, pivot. Everything looks like it's baked correctly. So I want to see at one point in time, it moves. Oh, it didn't move. Is it the mirrors? It's the mirrors. The mirrors make the gizmo go down there. How annoying. Okay. Let's see why this doesn't feel correct to me. If I look at the whole body, I mean, it looks decent. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what it is. It might be the head. It might be the shape of the head. Sometimes it can be something as simple as that. Or it might be this chin as well. Oh, I know. Let's take the neck and bring this up a bit. See if that helps. That helps a little bit. And we'll take this. I'm going to take drag and move that because that would kind of go into there. Okay, so it's decent. I'm trying to think of the S shape. The back, I want to move in a little bit. This abdomen, I feel like I need to make it a bit smaller. And the bottom part of this, I think I want to bring in a little bit. The chest, I think I'm going to push in here, but widen these a bit. And this, I think I want to make a little bit more round. Okay. Okay, let me think about the anatomy. Oh, I like how these are, I like how they're tethered. Nice job. Just trying to think of, so usually when I think about this, so this muscle here, the bicep usually goes into a V in our arms. So the bicep goes into like, so this V here, you have the V, but the bicep would be going in between that. Kind of like this. Oh, symmetry's not on, is it? Let's make sure symmetry's on. And this muscle is usually fairly narrow. And the back, oh, the back's connected to that, huh? Okay. We can work with that. Let's smooth. Okay, let's bring that closer a little bit. Oh, the symmetry is like bugging. Okay, so that was the main thing. This goes into a V here at the forearm, and then there's a big muscle here. Maybe I'll just use some clay. Whoa, what happened? That was crazy. And then I'm just going to use crease. So there's usually a muscle here, and this forearm part is like straight. The elbow is like straight. So that's my only thing. I'm not sure how I can really fix it here, but yeah, so this muscle kind of comes over. Let me smooth the bottom. Wait, how big is this? Oh, Santa Maria. Let's, I'm going to use quad remesher. Let me just save my progress. Let's see if I can bring the size of this down. It's 400, it's 500,000 vertices. It's bananas. You can also use decimate. You don't have to use quad remesher. But if we look at the wireframe, you can see how dense it is. It's very, very, very dense. And it doesn't need to be right now, so I'm going to half it again. It's 81. Let me half it again. Okay, so we'll stick with 36. I think that's fine. So the reason why that's important, again, is now I should be able to smooth it a lot easier. Okay. And again, like I said, there is a muscle. Do I need symmetry? Lower forearm. I could always just mirror it. There's a bigger muscle here. So we'll smooth that out a bit. What is up with this? Let me turn symmetry off. I don't know where this came from. Let's just try to flatten it. Okay, elbow was pretty good. Nice job with that. I'll just try to make it a little like smaller and even maybe a little more angular. Sometimes I'll flatten it so that's like, you know, kind of a little more like bony or something. But I think that's fine. Yeah, everything else is pretty good. I'm going to take this piece. So this piece usually goes in between the bicep and the tricep. So I'll bring that in there. So then we have that nice, you have that nice bit there. Try to smooth this out a bit more if I can. Yeah, nice. I like to stretch them so that when you voxel remesh, they're nicely in the other mesh. Okay, he does feel a bit short. I'm not sure how I can belly. Where is this? Hip. Oh, there's a bunch of things connected to the hip. The legs are connected to the hip. That makes sense. Does that look a little too weird? I don't think it does. Symmetry, you're killing me. Our hips would be like around there, maybe. Everything else looks pretty good. This could probably bring down a bit, a smidge. Let's look at the back muscles, the wings. So we're not really seeing the wings. So what we can do is just stretch them out here, and then maybe we'll be able to see them from the front. Okay, whoops. Maybe we'll squeeze that a little bit and make this a little wider. Kind of give us a little bit of that shapeage. Legs look great, knees look great. Knees are kind of big. I have big knees. So usually the knees actually do look pretty small for humans, all things considered. Maybe I'll take clay with sub and just get rid of some of the swelling here. And these muscles would kind of go on either sides of the knee, I think. Something like that. Flatten out the knees a little bit. And then usually they go right into that bone that you have. So I'm just going to stretch it just so they look like a little connected. Okay, legs look pretty good. The only thing I'm seeing here is, let me think. Should I move the back in a little bit? Just want to get that shape. And then this part can kind of maybe come out a little bit. So let's bring the butt out a smidge. Nice. What is that in there? Smooth that down a little bit. Make the neck a little wider. Okay. I think it looks pretty cool. Get some interesting muscles back here. I'm just going to do a little drag action. Actually, maybe I'll just smooth. I don't really know the anatomy of the back too well. I think there's like a diamond here usually. So let me make sure that this has the proper muscles as well. So we'll make like a diamond there. I think this kind of goes like this a little bit. And there's probably some other muscles down here, connecting muscles. Actually, I think they kind of like come out from the spine or something. I don't know. I always make just like fun, stylized backs. I don't get too crazy into them. Ooh, heavens. Lid upper, let's connect that. Nice. Okay, so what else would I do up here? I might take oh, I didn't voxel remesh. Right? I was gonna voxel remesh at least the ears, I think. So the ears, I'm just gonna validate. And then the head, let's do a quick save. Ooh, and the lids. Let's do the lids too. We'll validate them. Voxel remesh, we'll do like 350. Okay, and now we can smooth this out. Looks a bit more natural. Did I forget the ears? Oh, I always forget something. We'll do a little higher. I'm going to do 400. I'll do 450. We'll do 400. Oh, symmetry as well. So we'll smooth that. We'll smooth this. Doesn't have to be like super, super defined, you know? That's the beauty of, you know, the face and the... Oh my God. What is up with the symmetry? What are we doing? Pivot, auto, center, auto, show line. Where's this? Where's the symmetry, bro? World, auto, enabled. Local, I still don't see it. X. Why is the X all the way over there? That's crazy. That's crazy talk. All right, so anyway, I need to undo what I just did because symmetry wasn't on, of course. It's never on. Symmetry is always... I always have a battle with symmetry. Local's good. What else did I need to do? So this is the head. Is there some layers here? Smooth layer. Oh, there's a bunch of layers. Oh, that's wild. We're just going to merge them. And then we are going to pivot, center, pivot. So it's not there. So I think I need to bake this. Pivot, auto, pivot, pivots, pivot, center, pivot. Bake. Bake has been letting me down, seriously. Show line enabled. Okay, why would it not be in the center? Let me think. World, local. So it's there. So So let's go to Gizmo Edit. Why is it not in the center, bro? You're killing me. It might be as close as I'm going to get. So I'll just tap out of it. At least now the gizmo's somewhat in the middle, and I have no idea why it's not letting me. Okay, it looks like it's decent enough. Okay, that looks good. For the lip, I would use pinch. Really give it some character, making that lip look really tight. You can take crease and really work the shape of it. I might want to flatten the bottom one a little bit more too. Oh, it's a little too big. Unfortunately, I hate how the flatten tool works. It's super annoying nowadays. Let's do a little bit more clay here. So let's add a little something there. We can smooth it. And then we can use pinch actually, and we can just make a bottom line as well for the bottom lip. If things get messed up, you can just do crease again, crease this. And one thing you always want to do is drag back this part. You always want to drag that back. Smooth this a little bit. It looks so weird. I'm not sure how I can rectify that without just smoothing it and redoing everything. The only solution would be to, sometimes if you can move it up a bit, you can hide it. Let me take drag and try to drag the front part of the lip down. Maybe move is better. Okay, let me just try to smooth this here. Okay, that's a little bit better. So it just kind of makes the lips have that little bit of depth, but you don't want it to look too crazy, so just things to think about. Jaw's looking okay. Everything else is looking okay. I don't think I smoothed the ears. Let's see, the forehead. I want to make the front a little more. Okay, that looks good. And then if I want to add some eyebrow lashes, I'm going to keep snap-on for now. Hit the radius. Maybe I'll add another one there, perhaps. We'll keep snap-on for now. Oops. Come on. Get out of the way. I like to do profile as well. Maybe twist it. Let's push this one up a little bit away from the iris. See if we can mirror it. It might look a little off on the other side, unfortunately, but that's because of the symmetry. So there's not too much we can do. Let's turn snap off so we can get this nice and deep back in there. Okay, that looks decent. These are, we'll just validate them. These are the lashes. I think that's pretty much it. What's up with the nose? What are we doing? Let me smooth around the nose a little bit. I might use something like layer with sub. To get a little bit of space under there. Could use something like clay to kind of enhance the nose a little bit. Of course, you want to smooth everything, make it look nice and natural. And you could also pinch again, or flatten, but you could pinch parts of the nose just so it's a little bit more defined. Maybe bring this part in a little bit more. Add a little dimension to it. And then for the eyebrows, you could use, it's kind of like you did the lashes. Sometimes I do them like that. You could also possibly do clay. So like if you wanted to color it, you could just go to like black or something and do stroke painting. And you could always make them like that. And by using clay, they kind of raise up a little bit. So there's different ways you can do the eyebrows. And again, you could just use the tube. To flatten, and you can kind of figure out how you want it to look. We'll remove snap, maybe even take the gizmo and just move it in a bit more. You can mirror it, post sub to 2, bring the division X down a bit. Validate, and then you can smooth it. You can take drag and add some details or whatever you might want to add. Kind of break it up, or you can just flatten the edges and kind kind of make it a little more stylistic. Flatten or pinch, actually. Or you could take crease. Say that you want to voxel remesh it to give it a little more detail, or I guess you could also subdivide it to give it some detail and then just add some creases to kind of give it a little bit more of a realistic feel. If it's too intense, you can just smooth it a bit. What happened to that shape? It made it so weird. Anyway, you get it. But anyway, I think that's how I would do it. I think it looks decent. And yeah, that was fun. So again, shout out to Ashley. Appreciate you sending me this. Hopefully you got some tips. And I'm glad that you wanted to also share with everyone, so maybe people can get some tips and tricks for doing faces, human faces. But again, it's very, very difficult. Drawing is the biggest help that you're ever going to have when it comes to drawing things like that. Everything that I'm doing, I think of how I would draw it in 2D. So keep drawing, practice drawing. That's the number one way to get better at sculpting. All right, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to go more in depth, then definitely check out my Skillshare classes where I am a top teacher. I have about 50 classes, both Procreate and Nomad Sculpt. I also have a few classes on Udemy, so if you want to learn more, or you just like my style, you like the way I teach, or you want to support me, those are some other places that you can do it. Thanks again, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.